Tzu volunteers in the United States assist locals impacted by a 100-year flood in cleaning their homes. Tzu volunteers in Kuala Lumpur provide cash vouchers for the refugees during the Malaysian National Day holiday. 歡迎收睇DaAi Headlines， 我係 Ruby， 我哋一齊睇下今日嘅內容。In the United States, Hurricane Ida struck the East Coast as New York faced the most severe flooding in 100 years. In Queens, which is located in the low-lying areas, many residents have floods invaded their home basements. So the volunteers immediately went out to help them friends in need.
As items at the basement are soaked in water, the smells start to invade residents' homes, making affected residents feel more helpless.
It's okay, just like what Master Zhen Yan said, our heart matters the most. We practice taking care of our hearts, and these lost items are just extras.
Hurricane Ida left trails of damage on the east coast of the United States. In New York, Queens, Kissimmee Park is low in altitude. During the disaster, homes with basements were completely flooded.
There is a lot of food stored here, 4 large bags of rice. As of now, I don't know how the government will deal with this. I don't understand, and I am very bothered by it.
The hurricane this time is more severe than Hurricane Sandy 10 years ago. 20 Tzu Chi volunteers split into different routes, assisting locals in cleaning their homes.
A total of 10 people came over. We carried objects outside of the office and then we cleaned the floor.
We are here to support her. With our dharma friends coming in, she feels more at ease.
In New York, basements are no longer a viable option for residency, as new immigrants must move to other places. Tzu Chi New York established an emergency care center, hoping to assist residents impacted by the flood.
Severe flooding also occurred in Western Germany in July, and reconstruction work has been continued for more than a month. In the worst-hit area in Bad Munstereifel, European Tzu volunteers rented a large food truck to provide hot vegetarian meals for local residents. In the big pot, a volunteer is stir-frying the rice, while on the other end, some volunteers are responsible for breaking it. Tzu Chi provides free hot food with different dishes every day in Bad Munstereifel, Germany.
Today we fry the rice with egg and chickpeas. We also put some seaweed and vegetarian meat floss on top.
In addition to the staple food, there are some side dishes. Volunteers deliver them one by one according to the quantity ordered by each area. Sometimes there are even unexpected surprises.
This is the chili sauce that the workers in the disaster area like to eat. We specially bring it to them.
Most of the European volunteers have served in the restaurant before and understand the dining habits of local residents. Over the past few weeks, there are regular customers who come every day.
The food served here is really delicious. I would wait here at noon every day for your meal.
When I saw Tzu Chi's food truck, I really thought, oh my God, Taiwan's love is here. I really felt very touched.
Before the end of the summer vacation, the recovery project in the disaster area also came to an end. A group of store owners raised funds to host a Thanksgiving concert.
This time, Tzu Chi made a vow to provide vegetarian food for 1 month to form affinity with the residents and volunteers in the disaster area. So we support by giving dim sum until 11 p.m.
The concert was held in the rain, but this did not dampen anyone's enthusiasm. The mayor especially thanked all the relief workers and volunteers from all walks of life.
Without the help of all the volunteers, we can't obtain the situation like this today. Because someone helped us, we can finally look forward and have courage. It is believed that we can definitely stand up again to rebuild our home.
Tzu Chi's food truck extended its service until late at night, and many believe this companionship will last forever. In Haiti, the Tzu Chi's earthquake response team held the first local volunteer training. More than 50 local volunteers participated in the event and learned how to cook Jinxi instant rice so that they can teach other people to provide hot food when they go to a disaster area in the future.
What we have done today is mainly is trying to training the local volunteer.
I've learned a lot from Brother Curtis. The most important thing is I have learned to help others from my heart.
Today's training is a little bit different from before. Primarily is we call it the Huai San team leader with the James Ocean. The Huai San volunteer, they are very organized. Okay, you can see their gesture, their uniform, their poise, everything. They are very good. Okay, thanks the Huai San leader. They work with Brother Johnson very closely.
I'm Miss Adolfo. I've been with the foundation since 8 years. I've learned a lot of things from Tzu Chi, and this training helped me improve my life.
Looking forward is they all work together, and the leader needs to coordinate and to provide the work opportunity to everybody. And if the volunteer, they are really sincere to dedicate to the Tzu Chi work, that will be fine. We've been helping many.
I choose to be a volunteer because there are a lot of people in my country who need help, so I put myself in a position to help them and help them sincerely. Help them with all my heart through the training that I've received from Master Zeng Yan.
For today's volunteer training, we specially prepared delicious Jingzi rice for the participants. 4 key volunteers followed me to learn how to make Jingzi rice because we've already received 250 cases of this rice at the warehouse. We'll bring the Jingzi rice to the disaster area to make hot meals to provide to disaster survivors. We have these key volunteers. Today they learn to cook Jingzi rice. Later when they go to disaster areas, they can teach the people there so they can start to make daily hot meals.
In the Philippines, the government has announced that schools will open on the 13th of September. A senior high school in Ormoc has invited Tzu Chi volunteers and Tzu teens to clean the campus before school starts.
A group of people have come to senior high school campus. They're special guests invited by the school, and they came with a mission.
We are very grateful to Tzu Chi volunteers. They are providing great help. We are preparing for school opening in the school year 2021 to 2022.
Due to the pandemic, the National School Maintenance Week is not as big as before. Only a few teachers, city volunteers, and Tzu Chi can do help out under the sun.
Thank you sa opportunity na gihatag sa.
I'm grateful for having the opportunity to contribute my effort and clean up New Ormoc City National High School. Young people my age and volunteers have also come to help out.
Volunteer na nitabang sa paglimpyo nga rin.
Everyone works with one heart and one mind to clean up the environment so that the students can start a new semester in a comfortable and clean environment.
The pandemic is still impacting people in Malaysia, especially the refugees. Many of them don't know where their next meal might come from. So the volunteers from the Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter held the food voucher distribution on National Day, so the refugees don't have to go hungry anymore.
Shamjida, a Rohingya refugee, walks quickly into the grocery store to purchase rice as her rice container is empty.
No money means no rice.
Shamjida lost contact with her husband and she has been taking care of their children on her own. On this day, the family won't go hungry with the voucher Tzu Chi, Kuala Lumpur, and Selangor gave her.
I don't eat, or I just eat one meal a day. When we don't have money, eating becomes a problem. It's been like this for 3 months.
Under the pandemic's impact, many jobs have been lost. Tzu Chi held the distribution during the National Day holiday.
Thank you, Tzu Chi, for the assistance. I can finally purchase food to eat. Thank you so much. These past 2 years, many people, including Malaysian people, have not been able to really celebrate National Day. I can't imagine these refugees have it easier. They don't get to celebrate the holiday, and the days are tough.
We're helping them to ease their problems a little. At least this way they won't starve and be hungry.
The cash voucher came just at the right time, as these refugee families use them to purchase items they need to get through the immediate difficulties.
In Malaysia's Selangor, the pandemic has caused a group of Indonesian workers to lose their building job. They can only ask for food at local grocery stores. Upon noticing the situation, the volunteers in Selangor immediately set out for food distribution.
Do you see it? This area has high-class bungalows, and over there, around the forest area, there are wooden houses. These wooden houses are very different from bungalows.
Separated by a bridge, the living environment is completely different. Walking into the palm oil field, houses built by wooden planks can be seen everywhere.
Ini saya sama abang, sama adik. 3 orang sama anak 1, baby 1.
Most people who live here are Indonesian guest workers. In front of the house, a power generator supplies electricity for the entire home. Because of the pandemic, these workers are unable to return home as they face financial difficulties.
We went to a grocery store to better understand guest workers around the area, and if some of them owe money to the store, I asked the grocery store staff and they told me yes. I then asked them why.
I haven't worked for 3 months. It's very tough finding food to eat.
After understanding the situations of guest workers, Tzu Chi volunteers immediately set out for distribution.
油2罐，面粉2包。
We don't have things in our home, so if someone asks us for help, they also have nothing to eat for 1 week. We can't help them. Now we will share half of our food with them, so thank you for helping us.
Thank you.
A total of 71 food packages were given out during the distribution. Under the hot sun, rice bags have solved the short-term issue for these guest workers, as they no longer will starve.
In Taiwan, the pandemic has forced Tzu Chi volunteers to stop going to nursing homes to care for the elderly. To show their continued care, Tzu Chi volunteers deliver supplies to the elders at the DaAi Mercy Home in Bali. Let's join them there.
Bags of rice and dry noodles that are easy to swallow, along with high-quality olive oil, are loaded onto a truck and delivered to Bali to nourish the elderly.
We brought the olive oil you mentioned and some dry food. You really need all of it.
In the past, volunteers often came to visit. During the pandemic, interaction between both groups has decreased, but sincere care is the same as before.
The economy of the society has been affected. We are grateful for your help, and it's also what we cherish. Everything we get, we treasure.
During this special period, daily living supplies convey love and blessings and also bring cheer and compassion for the elderly.
Pingtung Tzu Chi volunteers continued to donate laptops to students in need as the new school year begins. They also provided uniform and trainers for the track and field team of DaAi Junior High, ensuring that these sports-loving students have the equipment they need for a successful year.
Tzu Chi's educational support gives students laptops, and volunteers take the detailed care to teach students how to use it. The gift giving held at the Gaoshu recycling station for disadvantaged students includes these items. Shoes and sports uniforms are necessary items the track and field team members need during practice. This educational support for DaAi Junior High's track and field team started 3 years ago by Tzu Chi.
Their shoes had holes, but they still continued to use them for training. And as their principal, I was really ashamed that I couldn't take care of the students. It was then that Tzu Chi entered our school, and when they saw the condition of the track and field team, they decided to fund their sporting equipment.
Most come from families with financial difficulties, but they all love sports 100%.
To thank the Tzu Chi volunteers for their support and dedication over the years, the students write down their gratitude in a card.
Thank you, Tzu Chi Auntie, for often visiting me after I had my surgery. I know they have high hopes for me. I won't let them down.
As the new school year starts, Tzu Chi's gift of laptops, sports equipment, and their love will surely accompany these students to success this year.
At the beginning of this year, thousands of tons of discarded clothes were dumped on the roadside in southern Taiwan. After the pandemic outbreak, there became no place for second-hand clothes to go. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, the amount of recycled clothing in Taiwan was 78,000 tons in 2020, and this number keeps increasing. Actually, about 70% of them are turned into garbage and burned directly in incinerators. Follow our report as we learn more.
Graduation photos, romantic wedding dresses, and even dressing for family portraits. Specific occasions require specific costumes, which accompany us through our journey through life. Clothes can even give us confidence. The clothes wait for us in the closet, but as fate has it, a piece of clothing is like a human being and may be destined for a special fate. At 9 o'clock in the morning, this low-cost jeans factory in Taichung receives a truck of customized product from China.
Our style and our packaging have been completed. We only need to replace the tag on it with ours. After the step is finished, we put this item in the specified area and it's finished.
No matter what era, jeans are an indispensable fashion item in the fashion industry. They're both casual and attractive, and the basic model always achieve long-lasting sales.
Between the material and the look of the clothing, it is relatively simple, so it meets the needs of large audience, and sales life will be longer. For example, this type of jeans, which follows popular trends, will have a shorter lifespan.
Wang Ziteng has been engaged in the garment industry for more than 20 years. He said that most of Taiwan's garment industry cooperates with China and Southeast Asia. Taiwanese companies rarely set up factories or design their own clothes anymore. The only thing that remains unchanged is that fast fashion has led inventories needing to be cleared through discount sales.
For example, we usually use auction sales for out-of-season products. The outlet method is more suitable for a relatively large shopping mall. We are purely in the clothing industry, so we use the auction method and use a lower price to sell these products to our customers.
All shoppers know that seasonal discounts is a good time to pick up bargains, especially high-priced items. If you don't look through these clothes piles, you may regret it. As a result, there may be countless clothes piling up in closets. After a long period of time, certain clothes, like a lover who fell out of favor, may be unloved, and it may not be long before they enter the recycling bins.
The normal peak season for us is about half-month before the Lunar New Year's Day each year. The next is around the Qingming Festival, or the changing of seasons from spring to summer. These two seasons will see a few more clothes recycled, and then it will gradually decline.
Regularly removed clothes that cannot be worn and emptying out the closet is something that many engage in. This is especially true during the COVID-19 pandemic, when working at home gives people more time to clear out old clothes. The old clothes recycling bin on many roadsides are jammed, and bags of old clothes were piled up next to it. Notices were posted on recycling bins saying that recycling was suspended during the pandemic prevention period, but a bunch of people turned a blind eye to this.
We have sealed the recycling bin on the side of the road, but the people still take out the clothes and throw it next to the recycling bin. This causes us to collect it. In fact, we still have to do it because of Environmental Protection Bureau, who keep calling and asking us to go and collect it. And because of the pandemic, some of our employees don't dare to go to work now because they're also afraid that there will be a lot of bacteria and germs in the recycled clothes.
In Wugu District, New Taipei City, a second-hand clothing processing plant is thousands of pings in size, with old clothing stacked more than 3 floors high. According to the industry, 500 tons of old clothes are collected every month, but only 100 tons can be recycled and reused. Of the remaining 400 tons of clothing, some 10% can be turned into fuel. This means the remaining 300 tons are garbage, which is equivalent to more than 4,000 tons a year, which are directly fed into the incinerator.
Most of the clothes cannot be recycled. In the early days, 30% was garbage and 70% was usable. Now only 30% can be used and 70% is garbage.
Second-hand clothes go to the incinerator in the end, but this is not a long-term solution. If the second-hand clothes are burned, it will have a high heating value for the entire furnace body, which is actually detrimental to the furnace body. We should make more channels for second-hand clothes for reuse. We should have more ways for recyclable clothing instead of the trend of fast fashion now, which uses a variety of clothing materials. The materials in these clothes are very difficult to recycle in the end and can only go into the incinerator.
According to the statistics from the Environmental Protection Agency, the amount of used clothing recycled in Taiwan was more than 33,000 tons in 2011. By 2019, it was nearly 77,000 tons, and in 2020, it exceeded 78,000 tons. This means the average person eliminates 10 items of clothing per year. This leads many to believe that old clothing has become a hidden concern for environmental protection, a potentially heavy burden for the earth to endure.
In the United States, Great Love Preschool Walnut has a course for teachers and students to discuss about the benefits of vegetables and fruits. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and see you next time.